He's very excited about Thanksgiving coming. Hey, it's great to see you guys in our truncated week. I I'm loving the topic this week. I will unabashedly and unashamedly admit I think inspiration's a great topic. Have you ever heard the phrase, be careful what you ask for? I bet you have. Careful what you ask for. Why are we cautioned against, why are we cautioned to be careful what we ask for? Because we might be cautioned because we pretty much know we're going to get it. Um, Perhaps this equates and relates to the greatest spiritual truth, or that which is tied for first amongst all spiritual principles, ideals, and that is when you ask, you receive. That's just all there is to it. It's the way the universe is designed. And so we better be careful what we ask for. Now, this brings up a host of yeah buts and questions and controversy because a lot of people are quite convinced that they're very good at asking. They are experts. In fact, they're so good at asking, they've spent their whole life asking for something and not getting it. That's how good they are at asking. And, guilty is charged. I think we're all, um, what am I trying to say? This is what I am going to say. When we get to the end of our lives, and, it'll be one more life in a gigantic encyclopedia of multiple lifetimes. One of the things we earthlings are going to realize at the end of our life in our end of life review is that we were all very bad at asking. We were just crappy at it. And Earth is the planet you go when you're you're kind of starting to get your you're starting to get it going on when it comes to asking. We're beginning to realize the power of asking, but we're also very bad at it. And we ask for so many different things, and then there's so many things that we want that we don't very accurately ask for. Now, have you ever been asked by a mate or a child or somebody close, a coworker or a boss? Have you ever been asked by somebody, then they're just not asking very well? Typically, this happens in intimate relationships. It's somebody wants something, but they don't really ask for it because, well, the other person should just know, right? So, or have you ever had a child kind of ask for something, but they kind of ask around it? It's like, Dad, can I have $1,000? And it's like, well, what do you want $1,000 for? And after 20 minutes of haranguing and arm twisting, it's like, well, I want to buy a motorcycle for jumping over cliffs. And it's just, we're just bad askers. Now, the good news is that we can get better at asking because we're careful what you ask for, careful what you ask for. But we are, as we get better and better at asking and more direct, more and more clear, more and more clarified, then we become so much more spectacularly, famously, fabulously able to produce the glorious lives of our heart's desire. Now, as a quick example of this, I'm in music production class at DVC over in Pleasant Hill, and I'm working with a lot of the young ones. And music production, we have a giant mixing board, and we have all these bands come in, and it's fascinating when we record them because then there's this mixing board. This mixing board, it must be $1 million mixing board. It has 100 sliders of different, you can turn up the drums, you can turn up the keyboards, you can turn down the vocals, you can turn off the bass. Now, of course, all the musicians involved in it argue with the producers. This has been going along as long as there's been electricity, of like, what is brought to the surface. Now, that means that we as askers, when we really get good at asking, when we really get direct, bold, unashamed, and unembarrassed about asking for what we want without camouflage or subterfuge, then the universe responds accordingly. As I said at the start of this class, God loves really bold, direct, outrageous prayers. I invite you, and if you get struck by lightning for doing this, I apologize in advance, but at least you'll be on to the next plane of existence. But I invite you to just pray so boldly, so directly, in such a clear, concise, right to the point fashion of what it is that you want. Now, say you pray for something that's not good for you. Well, then you'll get that and then you'll learn from that. I know many of us have wanted things that were very not good for us and we learned great lessons from it. But I think this is an opportunity this week, this lifetime to get over this. I better be as scared of asking. I better not really ask for anything. I better just be quiet and meek and just sit in the corner shivering when I see so many other people getting the things that I would love and enjoy and be delighted in having, and it would be great for me to express that capacity to the world. You, sitting in your chair, are designed to be a brilliant spiritual asking unit and to get better and better at it. So, as I said at the start, we can shock God with our prayers. Now, I'm saying that somewhat flippantly, but I'm saying that you can go straight to God and ask for exactly what you want, and it really gets God's attention. God calls all the angels in and says, "You've got to see this prayer." Down there in Sector Milky Way, somebody asked for a great deal of love, or they asked to be healed of a disease, or they asked for the greatest inspiration. They asked to be a spectacular drummer starting later in life. They asked for health and vitality. They asked for the ability to move people's lives in love and joy. They asked to be a great benefit and blessing for their family. There's so many things we could ask for, but if it's a mixed bag, if it's jumbled, if it's cloudy, if it's vague, if it's timid, then those are the results we get. So if you want to be inspired, ask for inspiration, ask big. Now, I've learned this from my cat. When my cat wants tuna, he looks me square in the face and says, "Tuna now," expletive deleted guy, and guess who gets it? The cat. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Ask big, be bold. If you get struck by lightning for asking too big, report to me from the next plane. I want to hear about it. See ya.